Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. I figured I would try my hand to get with Elder Sign one more time. Last night I was just in insomniac mode. I couldn't sleep, so I figured I'd play a game. For those of you who do not know, I had abdominal hernia surgery. I had 6 hernias repaired. They had to detach muscles to pull everything in tight to fix everything and then reattach. So I am just beat up. I just feel like I've been, just punched in the stomach by Mike Tyson or something like that. So, you know, the hard part is getting up and moving around, and then they stick a thing down your throat so you for what you call it, breathing. I just want to cough, and that's just killing me. So I don't really have too many live chats this week because I don't know how long it's going to take me to recover. But I figured I'd play this. I'd try my hand at a solo game. Uh, the link is in the chat if anybody wants to pop in and talk with me as we play. But let's talk about this game. This game is called Elder Sign. It's a cooperative game, meaning everybody who plays is on the same team. It is like 1920s investigators against Cthulhu type monsters. I pick randomly everything when I play. I'll play the base game. You can make the game a lot more difficult. There's a couple of different settings that you can play. Like I got this expansion. I got all the expansions, but I put it down into one box. And that's all like different locations and gates and everything like that. This is the cover of the box. It's still available. Oh, I just spilled all the rules. It's still available. I think it's a lot of fun. It looks more intimidating than it is, so just bear with me. So I got this playmat because I'm a lunatic. So this is a playmat. It's not a board. It's a card game. So I am Montgomery Jack and Agnes Baker. So I'm playing 2 characters. I'm pretty much using everything the same setup as I played last night. I got destroyed really quickly is what happens here. So there's always 6 rooms. These 6 rooms are rooms in the museum, and there's different perils that you have to face. These 4 rooms are helping rooms. So this is a souvenir shop where I could spend trophies to buy stuff. This is a lost and found where I could, roll the dice and gain things. This is the chapel where I could get blessed, and this is the first aid station where I could get help. There could be events that cause them to be closed, and that really, really stinks. Okay, so this is my starting character. I'm an archaeologist. So I'm in the Indiana Jones ripoff. Each time Montgomery gains 1 or more unique items after setup, he gains an additional unique item. So he finds more than the average bear. And Agnes Baker, she has past lives. When Agnes secures a die on one of her spells, she may change the result of that die to a result of her choice. So I guess I'll talk about the dice for anybody who's interested. Oh, I got 4 people watching. How you doing? Say hello. Introduce yourselves. So this is the standard dice. These dice they call them glyphs. So there's investigate. Okay, so that's 2 investigate. So there's a 1, 2, 1, 2, and a 3 investigate. Okay, then we got what's called a terror. Looks like tentacles, lore, and peril. That's the standard dice. Oh, I see somebody commented. Forgive me for being slow today. I already explained them. We'll beat up. Hey, we got Shadowpunk. Hey, Shadowpunk, how you doing? We got Zactan. The link is in the chat right above Shadowpunk. If you guys want to pop in and talk with me. So there's that option. Thank you guys for popping in. So what you got to do is, it's possible to see, I'm sure. Let me see. But you got these little squares with your face on it, and I love it because it's the same size of a die. And you move. Oh, so the first thing we got to do is flip over the Doom card. This is Gatanothia, the story. So a monster appears. So that's the first thing that happens, is a monster appears. So I'm going to reach in and pull out a random monster. Okay. So, oh no, we got the Hound of Tindolos. So this is a little monster token. And if you could see, there's a gray box and a gray box. So these are two places where there's monsters. So I'm going to put this over here. And if you see that yellow lock, that means this yellow dice is locked there. And that drives me nuts. So that means that dice cannot be used. That die cannot be used until that monster is defeated. I hate that. I hate that so much. All right, so Monterey Jack, he's not gonna stand for monsters. So he's gonna go into this room. Oh wait, I'm not done reading that card. The next time the clock strikes midnight, add 2 Doom tokens to the Doom track. Oh no. See, this is the Great Elder one. Right now he's sleeping. As the Doom tokens go over here, he wakes up. So right now, in order to defeat him, we have to get 10 of these Elder signs to keep him sealed in his, in his sleep. But if he wakes up, then we have to fight him, and then the game changes. It's usually easier to get the 10 Elder signs, but so that's what we're going to do. We're going to try for Elder signs. But you kind of have to level up. So Monterey Jack is going to go over here to the site of ancient relics. And I always like the flavor text. It says, I struggle to feed, I struggle to keep calm, but given the evidence presented on these artifacts, madness was the only rational response. So it says terror, lose 1 sanity. So that means if I fail a roll with the terror dice exposed, I'm going to lose sanity, which is not good. So I'm going to go in there, and since there's a monster, I'm going to use this Powder of Ibn Ghazi. The Powder of Ibn Ghazi allows me to use the red die. So now I'm going in there loaded with all of these dice. I'll roll the dice here, and I have to use one. Okay, so I got this. So I have a lore here, and I get great satisfaction of putting the dice on the actual space. You can only solve 1 line at a time. So I solved the line. Because I solved the line, I don't lose a dice. So I can re-roll all of these other dice. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to re-roll all of these dice. I could use this, and I could put that there. Okay, now that I have to advance the clock because that's what it says, and then I solve this card. So that was pretty easy, which is mean to say because then the game is going to get angry with me. So this is going to get taken to me. This is a trophy. Can you see that? So that's a 2-point trophy. That's like money in this game. My token will come back. And this card is worth 1 trophy. So right now, I'll put the trophy stacks over here. I have 3 trophies worth of currency for Monterey Jack. At the end, so this is how the order that I do it. Otherwise, I get confused. I replace the card, look to see if there's anything. Okay, and then I advance the time. After every player turn, you advance the time. Every time the clock strikes midnight, we do another Doom card. I'm just going to turn over here to see. Oh, Shadowpunk's popping in. Shadowpunk's popping in. I hope you.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, how you doing? I'm just going to do this so people can see the board. Okay. How you doing, Shadowpunk? Thank you for popping in.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to definitely keep your big board on the screen for sure.
Yeah.
So
how's it going?
It's going good. So I get now what you were saying about HeroClix because you said that if you got into, if you would really get into that.
Oh stuff. Yeah, forget about it. Forget it. It's funny. I was just talking. I don't know why I'm facing the camera. Like I need to face the camera. But can you hear me okay, first off?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay. Yeah, I was just talking with my buddy Mark, a coworker. He was asking how long I'm going to be out of work. I said at least another week. And he's like, oh, did they give you painkillers? And I was like, if they offered me, I said no. Because I don't remember. Because you're waking up from anesthesia. They start asking you a million questions. And I said, I don't want any painkillers. Right. Because look at me. I'm addicted to board games. I'm addicted to comic books. Forget about it if you give me a couple of painkillers. You'd never see me again.
Well, I'll tell you something. That stuff they give you in the hospital, like the Twilight stuff, or like you're out, but you're not like, it's not anesthesia. It's some new thing, right? I had it once when I had the kidney stones. It was like zonked out, and you woke up, and it was like Nirvana.
Oh yeah, I won't. My wife is over here, honey. Did they offer me painkillers? And I said no.
No, he didn't. He doesn't like to give painkillers.
Oh, good. See, that's the kind of
And
doctor I
they
like.
offered you the nerve tap to numb the nerves in your abdomen.
That's right. See, when I think when I was waking up, I don't really remember, but like so yeah. So if I get into HeroClix, like you were saying, I would have to get everything.
It's all over. It's all
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. So you know what I mean. So this Elder Sign game, I think it's like $30, and then like the expansion, there's like 3 expansions for like $10 a piece. They come in these little boxes, but then I had to get this playmat, you know. So I have an addictive personality. I know that. So I will not drink. I will not smoke. I will not do drugs because I'll never stop. You know.
Right. I mean, or have you ever focused it on something that you make money with or something?
Well, now I'm trying to make the comic. You know what I mean? But
that's okay. That's it then.
yeah, for the longest time, I would me and my buddies would play role playing games, and that was like my insanity. Like I'm not even joking. I must have like 20 years worth of notes and characters written up and all of this nonsense, you know. And now, since COVID, we kind of had a falling out, like a political falling out with that group. So
right.
I still have all of the notes, and I still have all the stories, and I still have all the characters. So I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna, you know, I started doing this YouTube stuff because I was lonely. You know, you know, everybody's locked in their houses for COVID. So I was like, all right. And then I saw other people making comics. So I was like, yeah, why not me? You know, I must have like 1,000 superhero characters made up over the course of playing, because I played a superhero role playing game, not much of a fantasy role playing game.
What game was it?
Villains and Vigilantes.
You know what? That was the best one ever.
Oh, I love that game. Yeah, if you go to www.villainsandvigilantesforum.com. Oh, I see how there's here. If you could put that in the chat. www.villainsandvigilantesforum.com. That's like a log of all of my games going back from like 1995.
It's awesome. So I played that 30 years ago, whatever, right?
Yeah, I played it 2 weeks ago, right? It's funny. My buddy just went into the hospital for a hip replacement, and then I go into the hospital, and then the new guy that we met out here, he went for a shoulder. So it's like we're all out of commission right now. Otherwise, we'd be playing.
Yeah, so that, to be honest with you, the thing that really drew me into Villains and Vigilantes was the artwork. Jeff D was awesome.
Yeah, Jeff D's artwork. I really did like it. I liked it. It's funny that you said that, because now I'm thinking about it. It reminds me of Renzo Rodriguez, the artist on my comic. You know,
does it really?
Yeah. So if you like that early, but then he made his own comic, and I don't know if he was rushed because it wasn't that good. So I'm wondering if there was an unnamed inker or I don't know.
Well, I tell you what. I also, when I was a kid, I met Bill Willingham.
Oh, yeah, I met him too. He was great.
So he came to where I lived, the area I lived in, and he drew me a highly detailed sketch of Ratman.
Oh, cool.
And then I still have it. It's in my original art collection. And it's like, I think I met Jeff D once. He came there as well. And I didn't get one. But, no, that's true. But he signed my Deities and Demigods book. He signed my Elric of Nabonian or whatever.
Oh yeah, that the second edition with the purplish cover with the Earl Otis art.
Yeah, it's got Elric section, and it has another one too that they took out.
Yeah, the Melnibonian and the Cthulhu, I think they took out.
Oh yeah, Cthulhu. That's right. Yeah, but that's Jeff D. Yeah, okay. Jeff D was so awesome, and his graphic style is so evocative, right? It's so perfect, like comics. That's comics for a lot of people. That kind of a thick, thin, and it just. So I don't know whatever happened to him, but yeah, we used to play V&V all the time, man. It was so awesome.
So so Agnes just failed her encounter, so she's taken 2 damage. So I'm just advancing the clock before I forget before I talk. So whatchamacallit, Villains and Vigilantes forum. I've been playing that. I've been playing and maintaining a forum for like 20 years.
Oh wow.
And at one point, people were telling me that I was the only active person keeping Villains and Vigilantes,
Really?
the interest in the game going. And then I got contacted by Scott Bizarre, the owner of Fantasy Game. Okay, my wife's just let me know she's going food shopping. Okay, she's being sweet to me. She's making sure that I'm okay to leave.
Right.
She's been really good.
That's
so
good.
Scott Bizarre, the owner of Fantasy Games Unlimited, asked me to do I want to help promote the rebirth of the game? And then Jeff D asked me at the same time, and I didn't realize that they were fighting. They were fighting.
Oh, no shit.
Fantasy Games owns the game, but Jeff D owns the copyright or whatever.
Okay.
Jeff D, Jack Herman made the game. Fantasy Games Unlimited published the game. And so I said to Jeff D, I said, yeah, you are an 18-year-old kid. Scott Bizarre paid the $30,000 to get the game out there. With you're both co-creators. You were just a bunch of kids with loose leaf paper. He turned it into a game. So you guys got to settle something. And I'm not going to be drawn in the middle. And Jeff D threatened to sue me. And
Really?
yeah, he's a prick. He's an absolute prick.
Is he really?
He joined my forum, and he was nothing but nasty and threatened to sue me all the time. Whereas Scott Bizarre has been nothing but nice. So, and I'm just a guy who loved the game. You know what I mean? Never meet your idols.
Yeah. Once you walk into that whole dynamic, and then it also makes sense too, because you learn over time why they don't get along.
Right.
It isn't just you can tell that there's something like Jeff isn't who you thought he was or something, right?
And other
or
people
the other
have told me
guy,
the same thing, that he is just a nasty person.
well, I hate to say it. I'm gonna say it because maybe it's not connected, okay? Because I know a lot of people that are atheists who are super cool.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people that are Christians that are not.
Right.
Okay. So I'm a Christian, but Jeff D is a hardcore atheist.
Right.
So
yeah.
I'm not saying that, I'm not, just a weird thing. You're right.
Here's the funny thing is, at the time, I was a hardcore atheist also. So I was like, all right, Jeff D's cool. And then I realized he was just like bringing the worst part of what I considered religion at the time, but removing all the spiritualness of it. So he's just arguing. He's making dogma. Like, I joined his forum groups and stuff because this is the guy that made the game that I liked. And they were debating in a group about, like, is it okay for atheists to have premarital sex? And I'm just like, you guys left religion and now you're still discussing dogma. I'm like, you guys crave. And then he just got nasty and angry. And I was just like, dude, it's not the atheism that because Jeff D's parents were preachers. I said, you're mad at your parents.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're mad at your parents. And then he banned me. And that was the last time we ever talked.
Wow, you hit the nail on the head then, right?
And he made me realize that the problem is not atheism. The problem, like, I used to be like, oh, all the world's problems were religion. No, I realized that, like, atheists killed more people than the religious. If you look at the Soviet Union and Mao Zedong, and Pol Pot, to me, the problem in the world has been like zealotry. Whether the communist zealots, the religious zealots, that's the problem. Not what you believe. So now, I'm a live and let live guy. Be whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like,
well, sure. And the thing is, there's nothing you can do about it. Right? If John down the street is Johnny atheist, there's nothing you can do about it. It's not like you're going to have. Business. Yes, it's not, and even if it was your business, let's just say hypothetically you started to run things, you can't make the guy change his opinion.
Right.
Right. So what's the point? Right. So all you can do is be your best and hope that people follow suit. Personally, I think that human nature is the problem. And it's built into the system. So,
right. Look at comic geeks right now. People are fighting over camps and stuff like that, over freaking comic books. And it's
totally. I mean, it is. That whole thing is strange. I don't know what your take on the whole thing is. I mean,
my take on the whole thing is how does that make comics more enjoyable for people. You know what I mean? Like
Well, okay. So
when I was into Marvel comics as a kid, as a teenager, I was a Marvel zombie. I just didn't pay any attention to DC. You know what I mean? Like if I found out, if I went to your house and you read Wonder Woman and Justice League, I'd be like, oh, I'm into Marvel. And I would just try to tell you why Marvel was great. I would never like insult you. Oh man, only jerks read Justice League. Only jerks read Bat. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then later on, when I got into Marvel and DC, I never put down Valiant or Image. You know what I mean? It was just I just ignore it. You know what I mean? Like I think Eric July selling millions of dollars of comic books and Ethan Van Sciver selling millions of dollars. I think that's just great. That's great for all of us.
Well, also, I generally kind of think the same thing. You know, I mean, it's Eric July is going to do whatever he's going to do, and and EVS is going to do whatever he's going to do. So there's nothing you can do about that stuff. The thing is, if you were Eric July, my guess is that he would say, "I'm making the book I want to make the way I want to make it, and if people don't want it, they're not going to send me all that money."
Right.
So the proof is kind of in the pudding, right? Whether objectively the book is better or worse on this point or that point, right? I mean, to me that is. But then on the other end, you know, Ethan would probably. I watched some of his things. I think he makes some actually good points.
Oh, his critiques are excellent.
I think, but I also think that his other critique on the fact that Eric is bringing in people that are the kind of people that are going to co-opt the movement. And so, Ethan's like, you know, at some level, you do have to gatekeep a little bit because they will infiltrate, right? The hot chicks will become popular and they will take over. And if they're not down with being not being crazy left-wing people, they're going to be crazy left-wing people over time.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm just saying that's his argument. I think I understand it. And I think it does kind of make sense just because you see how these people infiltrate, you know, they infiltrate movements and stuff like that. And, you know, they had Gamergate, right? And they had, you know, Comicsgate, I guess, you know, so. It's I didn't really like the writing per se in Eric's book.
Oh, I you know, I didn't want to insult Eric when he's been on my channel a couple of times, you know, and he's been nice to me, but
oh, sure.
He was smart enough to avoid actively asking me, but I didn't like Isom. I thought it was dull. I thought, you know, I bought the second book out of like, okay, maybe it'll get better. But for $35 a pop, I'm done. You know?
Right.
But am I going to badmouth it? Am I going to fight it? You know, there's a lot of there's bad cereal out there. I don't have to talk about that bad cereal. You know what I mean?
So I'll say this.
Okay.
So,
dear, yes, that's my site. Thank you.
Right.
Yes, that's my site. Sorry, I'm moving slow, guys. I hope you understand. I'm still recuperating from surgery. Basically, he's better than everything. If you don't follow, yes, but you know what is he going to do? I mean, unless he's out there telling people not to buy my comic, you know what I mean? He could say whatever.
Yeah, you know what? When I read, even to this day, when I read The Dark Knight Returns, okay, and I'm a big Frank Miller fan. Okay.
Oh yeah, me too.
So, but I don't really like the way that he wrote that book.
I don't like The Dark Knight Returns. I don't like that Superman was a stooge. You know,
right? And it's also,
I like The Watchmen, and it dawned on me a couple of weeks ago why I like The Watchmen and why I don't like Dark Knight Returns. Because The Watchmen were new characters. Yeah, I know they were based on Charlton, but they were new characters. So you do whatever you want with your own toys. I don't like when other people like disrespect other people's toys. You know, there's one thing to put Superman through the ringer, but it's another thing that he doesn't have agency and he's just a goof and a stooge. So I never liked it. I did like the old man comes out of retirement one last time. You know,
that is cool. Yeah. Well,
Just to finish up what I was saying about Jeff D. It got so bad that I went to a board game convention, and I was in a room. They were selling original art, D&D art, and they had the picture that Jeff D drew of Thor from the Deities and Demigods.
Yeah.
The original artwork, you know, it was only this big for $150. It was in my hand, and I always loved that. And he was just such a jerk that I couldn't buy it. You know, I know I should have separated the art from the artist, but I couldn't.
That's hard sometimes if the guy's a jerk and you know you're involved in it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so here's a question for you, because I know people have different opinions about this. At the end of The Dark Knight Returns, do you think the Batman beat Superman? And by the way, I know you're on drugs right now, so
No, I'm not. I'm not taking any.
That's right. Okay.
I'm not taking any painkillers. Did he? I don't remember. I remember Green Arrow shot him with the arrow. You know, was there a fight at the end? I don't remember.
So at the end of the book, he meets Superman at the spot where his parents were killed, and he plugs into the lamp, to the street light, and then Green Arrow shoots the arrow, and then he blasts him with stuff, and Superman's face is all burned. And some people think that Batman won, and I don't think that he won. I think that Superman held back the entire time. And
I got to look it up. I forget. Oh,
okay.
I wanted to address this comment. EVS kept. Yeah. I keep out of the loop, so maybe I'm talking out of my ass here. You know what I mean? I try to stay out of the drama, but I did hear that EVS was quiet, and Eric July was behind the scenes telling EVS how to behave, and EVS couldn't take it anymore. So if that's the truth, then I don't blame EVS at all, because that would infuriate me. And
that is my understanding.
That is my understanding. I heard it from people that I trust. I'm not gonna be telling tales out of school, but that's what I heard. And if that's the case, then man, like maybe I was a little more naive than I had any right to be, because I tend to take people at face value. And I like what's out there. That gatekeeping is important. One doesn't have to be antagonistic about it, but different places and communities is different. Absolutely. When you move to New York, you got to become a New York. If I move to Texas, don't bring your New York voting style and try to, you know what I mean? Here's the argument that I give. My buddy, work buddy, got married and his wife got pregnant. So he moved out of Flushing. We were both living in Flushing. Flushing is a Democratic stronghold. He moved up to Nyack, which is a Republican stronghold. And he's telling me, oh man, you know, it's nice up here. So I'm like, why'd you move? Why didn't you stay in a Democratic stronghold? Why'd you move to a Republican place? He's like, the taxes are low, the school's good. I said, oh, okay. So now you're going to vote Republican, right? And I said, you fled the place where you voted Democrat your entire life, and you're moving to a place that votes Republican, and you got to adapt. You want to keep it this way. You moved for a reason. You left your voting style. I said, you could talk Joe Biden all you want, but your ass is talking Trump, you know, and we don't talk anymore because that's the way I am when I talk.
Well, politics. that is true, you know, but sometimes people just don't think it through, right?
Right.
I mean, that really is.
As far as comics concerned, whenever I see somebody talk like you made a comic. I know you know your shit. You know, you made a good comic. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, you made a good comic called Shadowpunk. I did a video on it. But when I talk to people like on Twitter, they always just talk nonsense. I'm like, show me your comic collection. You know, I'm not going to go step 2 with this conversation until you show me. And I don't want to see your Comixology files. I want to see long boxes. Yeah,
right.
You know what I mean? I want to see, or short boxes. I want to see comics. And if you can't show me comics, then be quiet. You know, and just to show you my cred, I will show you every time this comes up. I have to show this picture.
Okay.
To get me moving really slow because the pain. But you see that?
Yeah. Oh my God, that's fucking crazy, dude.
That's my
that is next level vault.
Yeah, and I just did a video of my original art that all of a sudden the past year or so I've been getting original art. So that's my comic book room. You know.
Wow.
So yes, that's my gatekeeping. Show me your comic collection. You want to talk comics, I don't want to hear that you watch, and I think it was abundantly clear. And again, I'm not here to be nasty to my guests. You know what I mean? Unless you start
Sure.
screaming and yelling at me, I'm civil to you. So
Yeah,
I didn't appreciate that when Eric July came on. People started super chatting, and I didn't realize that I was saying nasty things to him. You know what I mean? I'm not your cam whore. You know what I mean? For $40, I'm gonna insult my guest. So that kind of tipped me off.
Well,
But,
here's the thing, though. You don't really know. You don't really absolutely know that everything that, say, EVS says is accurate. And if I just say for Eric,
I think
too,
he is very fair. I think he's very fair, and I think he has a right to be angry after I heard that Eric July basically was telling him to shut up and be a good little soldier. Who the hell is Eric July to tell him that? Oh, and as I was saying, Eric July made it abundantly clear. If you watch my second interview with him, he didn't read comics.
Oh, really? Okay.
He couldn't answer one question when he said he liked the Flash. I was like, which version of the Flash? Did you like the Mike Baron run? Did you blah, blah, blah? And he didn't answer.
Right,
so
right.
But I don't want to play gotcha journalism, but it's okay. You don't have to be a 40-year maniac to make comics. You just have to make good comics. Unfortunately, his comics are dull.
Well, the other thing too is you do have to respect what comics has been for the last 50 years or whatever, right? You might go,
Right.
You might go. I mean, if you're gonna make comics, you should at least have an opinion of why Jack Kirby was great, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even if you don't like him, you go, well, but he was a legend, and there's a reason why he's a legend because he did X, Y. He made Galactus, right, or something like that. So you go. Right. I mean, if you don't know that stuff, okay, let's just say you don't know any of that. Okay, let's just say you're totally.
Then admit it.
And then be fascinated by because by the way, that is comics. Okay, I'm going to say something right now that's should be clear to Eric July. Okay, Jack Kirby is the king of all comics. Okay,
right
now EVS, whether you like it or not, he is the biggest deal in Comicsgate. Okay,
yes.
And if Eric July can't,
these are all facts.
Yeah, totally. I mean, he's achieved a lot, and if even if Eric July hadn't figured that out, and that was the bizarre thing to me. I'm like, dude, you didn't figure out that he's the main person in Comicsgate for a reason because he's got it, or EVS has it, right? B, EVS is extremely savvy. Okay, yes. And he's very smart. And so if he decides that you wronged him and you shafted him in some kind of a way, he's capable of articulating that to people in a way that a lot of people aren't. And so God help you if that happens. Because and I think that's what I think, like you said, he had enough. Because I watched that one podcast where Dick Masterson shows up and he says, your book sucks, what the fuck? And everybody's like pouring water for Eric. It's so sad, right? And you're like, and you see Ethan sitting there saying nothing because he doesn't, for the reasons that he gave, And I'm just like, dude, that tells me Eric is not the brightest bulb. Because, dude, if I can figure out what I just told you, and a guy who made $3 million on his comic books, he should be able to figure it out.
Ethan is very savvy. Ethan's a genius. He's one of the greatest living comic book artists. He's great at YouTube. He would have. Sometimes when you see talented people, like you realize that talented people are talented in many fields. Like how many guys do you know are like a great comic book artist? Then you find out that this guy's like, he could have been a baseball player, like Frank Frazetta could have been a baseball player.
Frank Frazetta, right?
You know what I mean? Or some of these guys were musicians, like Dale Keown is a musician and probably the greatest but with EVS, that guy, even my wife, who's not interested one bit when EVS voice such, she's like, that guy's voice, you just want to listen to him. You know what I mean? So
right.
He and as bombastic as he could get, he's very fair. Like when he, he did over the top for comedy purposes, but when he tore apart ISO #1, everything he said was legit. Like I think he made it bombastic to make a point, but everything he said was legit. There was not one criticism that was mean or vindictive. It was, explosive because, let's face it, you get $3,000 worth of super chats,
Well, I generally agree with what you said. I think he was dead on with the story. Okay, and you could his pain that he had when he read it was a pain I felt too.
I'm more interested in writing than I do like the art too. So I didn't pick up all of the 3D assets and all that stuff. I just wasn't savvy enough to pick that up. But the writing, I was just like, what's going on? Like from page to page, I didn't understand. He took too many characters. That should have just been about Isom. No other characters. Issue 2 introduced Yara. Issue 3 introduced Goody, and whatever. One character at a time. Let me learn Isom instead. The criticism that I always give was I gave my scripts to Brian Bauer of Wolf and Batsy, and he said these are good, but this is all world building, and none of the characters get any spotlight. I don't care about any of the characters, and if I don't care about the characters, I don't care about your world building.
Right.
So that was like a punch in the face, and I rewrote my scripts, and and I'm like, okay, each issue is going to focus on one character, and he was absolutely right. I'm not introducing 40 characters in the first issue. I'm introducing one and a bad guy. You know what I mean? Get you to like that. And I think that's what Isom is. Like, who the hell are all the rest of these people? Where are they? What's going on? He retired. Why? What I know what he wants to do. And I'm also a rookie. He wants to string you along for a good payoff, but you have to give something in every issue.
You do.
The very first word was 2 weeks ago. From when? Somewhere near Florida. Well, where? There was nothing definite. I felt like I was like in limbo.
Right. I mean, you know what? Your point about buying the second one for that reason makes sense because because everybody learns as they go along, right?
Right.
So that was not the case. I think with ISO #2, but maybe I think everybody's capable of learning and getting better, and everybody's at a different point, right? So when you write a comic book, correct me if I'm wrong here, okay? But generally speaking, not only do you want a point at the end of the book, you want many points along the way because it's enjoyable for the reader. Yeah. And you also want to make it a page turner. So you want to have climaxes and you want to build up to the last panel of each page to some degree or another, right? Even if it's small, and so, someone like the pro guys like Ethan or all those guys on his, like Dale Keown and Graham Nolan, they've been doing it for so long, right? They figured it out 20 years ago how to do this correctly. So they're way ahead of the game. I'm a 3D artist, as you know. Also, okay. I do 2D and I do 3D, right?
Okay.
I build a lot of my environments in 3D. I build them all myself, right? So
I saw your sculpts. Your sculpts are awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, and I love doing them. Right, they're so much fun. But when I'm building my book, I'll build like a box for a building, and then I'll do like a thinner box for each layer, and then when I go to draw it, then I'll put all the details in. Right. So I guess my point is, the point should be that no matter how you make your book, it should look good. And if people don't like the way that it looks, then that's up to them to decide whether or not they want it.
Right. I think Eric July's big mistake was when feedback started coming back, and people were like, "Listen, I didn't like your book." Because it's going to happen. I'm sure somebody doesn't like your book. Somebody's not going to like my book, and I'm just going to try my best to be Stan Lee. Like, I'm sorry, true believer. You
Right.
know, I'm listening to what you have to say, and you know, you got some valid points there. Maybe next issue will course correct, and we could all achieve greater things together. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
what Eric July had to say. Like, you know what I mean?
Well-
Does he get high off the smell of his own farts? Did he think that like his first foray into something was going to be a home run? Like, to me, that's not good. You know?
Well, the thing is too, most first time creators don't make what he made money wise.
Right.
So a lot of us, I think, are going like, wait a second, you made that much money, and then now you don't even like take criticism.
Right.
That's a slap in the face for a lot of creators that spend, an entire year making a book, and then and then we're ready for notes. Give me the notes. What could be better, right? Because we're working hard to make it better. And so I think to me that was a weird thing with Eric. I was like, dude, you should have figured this one out too. If you make that much money on your book, you should be smiling as people criticize you.
Right.
Okay, let me just say it out loud, okay? Because none of us are ever going to make $1 million like that. I do. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't like to criticize anybody, because everybody's at a different stage, But that was the whole thing. When that happened, I was like, dude, something's weird here. Something doesn't add up.
What do you mean?
Well, because that thing about number one, about not being able to take criticism when you make $3 million, right? That is weird to me.
I tell you, man. I'll tell you right now, Shadowpunk. When Heroic Tales comes out, and if I make $3 million, you could call me an asshole, fuckface scumbag, and I'll just give you a thumbs up and be like, that picture of Graham Nolan holding up the snifter of cognac with the cigar and a steak. I'm like, that'll be me,
Of course, everybody should be that way.
I like what Jack Ted says. One has to learn how to accept criticism gracefully. Maybe it's valid, maybe it's not. But either way, it shouldn't make you angry. Admittedly, I'm not great at. Yeah, I gotta say, to Brian, when he gave me criticism, I was pissed off, but he was right. My emotions doesn't change the facts. He was absolutely right. And this was a guy who's been doing comics for 20 years. So I listened to him. He's absolutely right. This? Brian Bauer of Wolf and Betsy. He kept saying, this is world building.
Oh, right.
So I don't care. Each you got cool characters, but they're in like one page. You know what I mean? They're not doing anything.
Right.
Maybe you should focus. And he was absolutely right. And then I had another friend. She's a PhD, brilliant, one of the smartest people in the world. I didn't listen to any of her criticism because she doesn't know comics. She's thinking of it as novels, and you know what I mean? Like she didn't understand where I was going as far as comics and sequential art and everything like that. So you listen to the criticism. You don't have to take everybody's criticism, but I gracefully accepted everybody's, as some of it hurt, some of it sucked, but whatever, moved on. And I'm grateful for it. I think it's making me better.
Well, here's another part. Here's another thing to it too, though, is that the criticism that your friends gave you, in when you're selling books for money and you're making a business out of it and you're in a community, it's pretty rare that people are going to even give you that much credit, right? For example, my point is no one's going to go out of their way to help you and give you criticism because that's what it is, right? So, the people that tell you straight this isn't working or this is working, they're actually trying to help you.
Yes.
And
yes.
So, and that's going to go. It's going to go away.
I've been incredibly fortunate with help that I've been getting from people. I'm extremely happy. People have been coming out of the woodwork to be nice and helpful. So, part of me is like really annoyed that there's like problems in Comicsgate because I haven't seen it. Maybe I've been flying under the radar, or maybe I just been lucky. I don't know, but everybody's been super nice. So again, maybe I'm Pollyanna over here. Like, why can't we all just get along? But couple of people have been giving me private messages telling me like, yes, this is what Eric said to EVS, and I didn't know about that because I kind of
Okay.
purposely avoiding it. So I
It's also good to avoid too because even if I told you this is exactly what happened, you don't even know if I'm right.
right. Yes, you're right about that.
So I could be wrong. I could just be good intention, but I'm wrong. So it's like, and then you're like, now you're in it, right? You're in the mud with everybody. So, but then again, drama attracts people to your channel, which is
Yeah.
sad, right? But it is the nature of human beings, I suppose. Well,
Yep.
yeah.
So, are you a board gamer?
Just when I lived in Michigan, I played HeroClix, and that was the one game I had. I grew up playing D&D, and we played V&V too. But that was about it. Once you get into a game, as you may know, a lot of games you can get into them for years and not get bored. And so, like, if I'm getting to D&D, I'm not going to bother getting involved in something else, right? Because it's enough to keep me interested and occupied, I suppose. So, HeroClix is a cool game. A lot of companies do what they did is every couple of years they slightly change the rules, and then you've got to buy all new guys.
Yeah.
Or you don't have to buy them, but now you're like your guys are underpowered or something.
Right over here, I have this is all Star Trek Attack Wing.
Yeah, right. I know they made.
I love this. I just spent a couple of days ago sorting this all out. So like here is the Next Generation Enterprise.
Right.
And here is the original Enterprise. Look at the size difference. And this is the first edition. And then they came out with the second edition. They did it for Star Wars Attack Wing and Star Trek Attack Wing. Killed it. Nobody wanted to rebuy all their models. Nobody wanted to rebuy all their cards.
Right.
And now nobody talks about it anymore. So I've been buying up all the first edition stuff for cheap. I still love it.
Did WizKids make that? Is that the WizKids?
Is it WizKids? I'm gonna say yes, but
or Wizards of the Coast. Now I'm not even sure who owns it.
And then there's another game called Star Trek Fleet Captains. I'm looking at it right up there. It's actual HeroClix. It's Star Trek ships on HeroClix bases.
Yes.
But it's an excellent board game.
Yes.
It's an excellent board game.
So one of the things I did when we played HeroClix a lot is I made my own HeroClix maps. High res.
Oh, yeah, you're an artist. That's great.
Multi-leveled, right? Where like the ones they sell you are not as cool as mine. One of the maps I made, like all the ones like Batcave, Baxter Building, all the ones, right? But the one I made, I eventually ended up making Dealey Plaza into a HeroClix map.
What did
which
you
is Dealey Plaza, the road where they killed Kennedy.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's funny.
So, and I made it because a lot of the guys in Marvel Comics and in DC Comics, they're like quasi spy people, like the Hydra people, right? So we played it with if you have a Hydra keyword, you get a bonus on the map, right? So it forces people to use certain types of characters, But tons of fun making stuff like that. I mean, totally get a kick out of it. Yeah, so
nice.
Love it. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I mean, right now I'm focused so much on work. I'm working on 3D figures and then working on my issue number 2, right?
How long do you think till issue number 2 comes out?
Well, it took me a year to do the artwork. So, I think that's going to be the same. And I'm in the process of writing number 2 right now. And by
Yeah,
the way,
I like Shadowpunk. I thought it was good.
thank you. Yeah, when I did the animated movie, did you watch that?
No, I didn't know. Send me a link to that. I didn't know there was one.
Oh yeah, this is part of my psychosis as a human being. This is why I'm not normal. I made an animated movie, like a prequel, a prologue to the book, and so and it makes the comic book more logical if you watch
Okay,
it.
okay,
So,
I'll watch it. Yes, send the link. Send
but
it,
yeah,
put it in the private chat, and I'll put it in the chat, and then I'll watch it later.
yeah. I so I think I have to make money. So and I actually enjoy doing the 3D figures. I'm not
Really?
gonna
Do you want to
lie.
come in and join us? Zach, can you want to come in and join us? I'm sorry that I'm getting to the. It's kind of tough to turn in face. You know what I mean? Twist my abdomen is kind of painful.
Let me see.
So I'm starting my turn now. Where am I? Okay, so I moved Monterey Jack. He's going into the stacks. He's blessed, so he gets an extra dice. So I'm gonna roll all these dice. I got a Pearl and a Terror. And you can't focus if you succeed. And I got this, and he has to take another damage. Let's beat this room. Cool. This room gives me 2 common items, a unique item, and then his power is I get another unique item. So pretty cool. Pretty cool.
So your wife, I take it that she's not a gamer.
No, she's not a gamer at all. She likes nerdy stuff. She will play games with me. It's more of like to be social with friends. You know, we've gone to a board game conventions together and met other people, and she really liked that because we made friends with other couples.
Right.
You know, but my wife is painfully introverted.
Oh.
So she'll never come on camera. It's like I feel bad. She's like distressed when she comes down the stairs. She comes out really quiet and like, "Oh, you on camera?" No, oh, okay. What I mean? She's so afraid of being on camera.
Oh. Well, that's normal, actually, isn't it?
Yeah,
Most people don't really.
Like I'll have game room, and I'm the opposite. I'm an extrovert, so I'm down here. Have like when I moved from Flushing to here during the craziness of COVID, and I'm a construction guy, so I built this room, painted it and everything. I got this big uh, board game table, holds like 6 people, and it was all done. And then she started crying. She goes, "Look at all this work that you did, and nobody's ever going to come." I said, "What are you kidding me?" I said, within a year, I'll have too many game nights. Because I'll go. I said, "I'll go out and make the friends." Now I got a new group out here. I got a game group every Monday night. I got a game group every Thursday night.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? You feel the dreams. I built it. They will come.
Well, and also your other friends might come back, right? Over time, people kind of go. I kind of get it. You don't know.
First off, they live in Queens and they don't have cars. They're not going to drive the hour and a half out here. And
is that far from where you are? Queens is far.
Yeah. I don't know. They got like Trump derangement syndrome, and then the whole COVID. I was just like, "Come on out. Are you vaccinated?" And I'm like, "Are you?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Then what do you care about me?" Like this.
Right.
And so
isn't that funny?
And then the Black Lives Matter riot started. And I was just like, this. I said, destroying Minneapolis isn't going to help anybody.
Right.
And that,
right.
so it just got to be the point where I was a racist asshole, blah blah blah. Like they said things that could
really,
yeah.
Well, I actually I think the more you understand why people lash out like that, the more you don't really you don't hold it against them, right? Like I get why people think that way, because the system involved is the most powerful mind control system the world's ever seen. It's so powerful, right? They control so much. So for your friends to be able to deal with that is almost impossible,
Yeah.
especially if they're left wing people, right? They're never gonna get it, right?
Yep.
It's like so you have to have. I mean, as a believer, it helps to have compassion for people, you know. And not every point they make is wrong, but it's
Well, let's be realistic. When we saw those videos of George Floyd, who wasn't moved? Like, oh my God, this cop is just standing, you know what I mean? But, like, I was like, I don't know the situation. I'm just seeing a video of a cop kneeling on a guy's neck. I don't know,
Okay.
I don't know nothing. I don't know what happened 2 seconds beforehand. I don't know what happened 2 seconds after. But just to watch that video, if you're a human being, you feel for that guy. You know what I mean? Like, unless I find out that this guy's like some sort of pedophile or something like that, I'm like, what was he doing? You know what I mean? But even so, I was sympathetic, and then the city went berserk. People are burning down city, and I said, these people don't even live in Minneapolis. I said, how many people are coming from out of town? I said, this Black Lives Matter has collected all this money, and it's going to Democrats. I said, and they're like, well, they don't have representation. I'm like, what do you mean? Minneapolis is all Democrat. You can't find, the city council's black, the governor's black, the congressmen are black. I said, you can't use any of the typical excuses. I said, can't we just say that this was like bad behavior on two individuals? George Floyd was an asshole and this cop is an asshole. Then it turns out that they worked together at a nightclub together. I'm like, don't you understand? This was something else. This was something personal between two people. What are the odds that that two guys that work together at a nightclub together are now in an altercation? This is not racism. This is like, I think it's like a dirty cop and dirty him, whatever. I don't, but they just wouldn't believe any other things other than they were told. And when I said Black Lives Matter was a bad organization, they taken it like, oh, you don't like black people? I'm like, you're black.
Wow.
We're playing games. Like, you're 30 years old. Are you that easily manipulated? So I got, things got a little heated, and and then next thing you know, I'm sitting in my apartment. And I'm like, it's time to buy a house and move. All my favorite restaurants closed in Queens. My wife and I would be walking down the street. People are pulling over, yelling, "Put masks on!"
Really?
I'm like, it's me and my wife walking down the street. Put masks on.
What the fuck?
You know what I mean? And it was funny. So I moved out here, and we couldn't eat the day we moved. You know what I mean? Everything's in packages. I mean, everything's in boxes. So we finish moving. The movers all leave. And I'm like, let's go to a diner. We go into a diner. Nobody's got masks on. Everybody's talking. There's music playing. The place is packed. I'm like, oh my God, this is like normal people out here. In Queens, people were, locked in their houses.
Really?
Yeah.
It's so well during the whole pandemic when I lived in Michigan, I never wore a mask ever.
Right.
Okay.
To be gross. I was like, do you smell my farts? It's January. I'm working on the bridge, and I'm telling my partner, who's yelling at me because I don't want to wear them. I'm like, do you smell my farts? Meanwhile, he's got a mask on. He goes, yeah. I said, so I'm wearing thermal underwear, jeans, and an overall bib, and you still smell my farts, and you think that paper mask is going to protect you from anything. He goes, doctors wear them. I go, yeah, to keep spittle out of wounds. You're not doing surgery on it. I said, you don't even know why you wear, so.
Well, that is highly logical. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's a pretty good indicator that the person you're talking to is caught in the middle of something that they don't understand. Right? Because if simple logic blows your thing out of the water and your buddy has to jump through hoops to explain it, there's something weird going on. There's no reason why he shouldn't be able to say, well, here's exactly the reason, right? And by the way, the whole COVID thing, there's a ton of things that don't make sense. Okay.
Yep.
So the American people are supposed to be free people. Okay, John's a free man. So if
Where
they're
do you
really,
live?
I live right now. I live in Arkansas.
Okay.
So I, if there really was a thing called COVID, okay, then it should not be hard for them to go on TV and say, here's a microscope, that thing right there, exactly at the end of my finger, and the microscope is COVID. That's it.
Right.
Right. And by the way, we'll send you the info and anybody can check it. Now, if they had done that, I would have went, and let's just say people.
I remember when they said, "Oh, it's from eating the bats over there in China." So I looked up Wuhan, and I'm like, "Oh wow, what are the odds that there's a COVID research center right there in Wuhan?"
Bang bang.
You know what I mean? So I was like, "Okay, so what's going on?" And then it's the bats. So I'm like, "Okay, I've seen that movie with what's his name, Dustin Hoffman."
Oh,
Are they going to send in the guys in the suits into the caves and collect these bats to isolate the virus?
Right.
That never happened. As far as I know, none of that happened.
It never happened. And the reason why it has to happen is because we're all sovereign people. You don't have the moral right to force us to do anything.
But I'm saying that they told us it was from a bat. Well, isolate the bat, isolate the virus.
Exactly. Exactly.
But they didn't do any of the logical steps
Right.
to cure a disease. And then all of a
Right.
sudden, 6 weeks later, there's a shot. I'm like, dude, it takes
Right.
20 years for medicine to be brought. I'm not taking this freaking shot.
Right. And so the whole thing is suspect, right, from the beginning. And that alone, should be enough for John or me or Matt here to figure out that I'm not playing along with this nonsense, right? Because what happens is when you say yes to a mask, then the next step comes, right? So they have already figured this stuff out. And the fact that, normal people don't believe that this is thought out by somebody before it even rolls out is now you're at the mercy of the people that don't think clearly, and I love them. I love all the people in my family are the same as your friends, and I'm just like, nobody's going to listen, and I'm like, I'm watching the whole thing on TV or whatever. And I'm just like, when is this going to end? Because this is like a Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it's
right.
Black Mirror.
It's Black Mirror, exactly. And I'm surprised there wasn't a Black Mirror about it. Either way, the one thing I did realize is that I wasn't going to let the divisive tactics to separate me from people. And so I would say
I was trying to stay friends with people,
Right, exactly. I mean, it's good to have that mentality, the conscious effort to go, yeah, these fuckers are trying to mess with everybody, but I am not going to let them dictate my relationships with people. If my brother or somebody wants to get vaccinated, I'll tell him my 2 cents and that's it. Because he's grown up. He can make his own decisions,
At work, people would go, "Oh, are you vaccinated?" And I'd be like, "Oh, are you circumcised?" And they'd be like, I said, "Oh, I thought we were talking personal details." Yeah,
that's fucking funny. Wow, you said that, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's not even. I'm old enough to remember in the 80s when AIDS was going around, and AIDS was the death sentence, and you were not allowed to ask anybody any medical questions at work, at school. You know what I mean? Because now work.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh, now it's required to ask your medical. It's none of your business.
Right
now I go. It's none of your business.
And now it's flipped, and you haven't even noticed it, right?
Right.
The people that are doing it haven't even put 2 and 2 together that it's flipped.
Right.
That's so crazy. Well, what's funny? So Michigan was not nearly as bad as New York as far as the crazy people. We had them for sure, but it sounds like if you're walking down the street, and people yell at you, we never saw that in Michigan. Yeah. That's next level.
Yeah, it was getting insane. Just walked in. Where's your mask? Up your ass.
So during the whole thing, I was part of a group of people that during the winter even we would stand on the corner of one of the big streets in Michigan, one of the main roads, and we would some of them were Trump people. All they were worried about was the Trump election or whatever, and I was the no vax person. So I would have in the middle of the winter, I'd have a giant sign that said no vax. And so many people drove by and honked. Hot babes were like, hell yeah. And you knew that it wasn't taken. That people were hip to if there's bullshit happening, they're hip to it. Some of them drove by and they had their kids in the car and they would flip me off.
Yeah.
With their children next to them. And I'm like, that tells you everything you need to know, right? You're deranged. And even if you disagree with me, you wouldn't do that in front of your kid. Okay.
Yep.
So, I mean, to me, that's a you will know them by their fruits kind of moment, you know? And I saw quite a bit of that. So anyway.
We failed. We're on the far side of the moon over here. And as much as I tried to use all my cards to manipulate everything, I failed, which means he loses his blessing. So Zartan, Monterey Jack is no longer blessed. And then he's going to take 2 sanity damage.
Oh, wow.
Out of 3. So he's taking some damage over here.
Let me ask you about this game.
Sure.
Is it possible to do this with other people?
Oh yeah, it's a cooperative game. I've played this game with up to 8 people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it looks intimidating because it's a million cards, and you know I'm always the guy that's teaching new games to people. So I'm the worst as far as like you're going to teach me a game. I'm like, you know, I can't sit through somebody else's rules explanation, but I have no problems teaching a game. But it's real simple. If you want, I'll explain this. So this failed. So we are stuck on the far side of the moon. So I have to adjust this. So, all right. So I will talk through an entire turn right now. Oh, and then she's going to take a damage because she helped. So she'll take a sanity damage. All right. So it's Agnes Baker's turn. Here is Agnes Baker's chip. They're the same size of a dice, so you can put a dice on it. I just love these little things. So I'm going to decide what they're going to do. I'm controlling both of the characters. They're pretty beat up, but this dice is locked, so she needs to. I don't think she could. All right. So she's going to stay here. So I'm going to roll the dice that are left over. One dice is locked by this. One dice is locked over here. So we're starting out weak. Oh, I could use her ally. Her ally has the ability, takes a sanity damage, but we get to draw a spell. I could do that 3 times, and she's good with spells. All right, so there we go. So I'm all prepped and ready to take her turn. So I'm going to roll the dice. I'm going to hold off to see what I rolled. And all right, cool. So there's 2 lines on this card. I need to solve both lines. I call it horror Yahtzee. So this top line, I need to get 6 investigate. This bottom line, I need to get 6 investigate and 4 lore. So and 1 lore. So she used a spell. So I'm going to pull this dice off that spell. That's 4. That's 2. So that's 6. And that's the lore. So there. I solved 1 line. Since I solved 1 line, I do not have to discard any dice. So now I could re-roll these dice. And I need to get 6 of those investigation symbols. So this is 3 investigation symbols. And then a lore. That's not enough. And I don't think I have anything that can help me. Okay, so I could do this. I could... Oh, this I used already. Damn it. So this goes away. So I lose a dice because I failed a roll, and my dice, diminish. I have to roll exactly the right thing right now, otherwise I'm screwed, and I'm screwed. So she's gonna take 2 sanity, which is enough to kill her, and then I put a doom on here. And you see this yellow dot right here? I'm covering that up. That means a gate opens up. Boom. So these green cards are harder adventures in other dimensions. So Agnes, my spellcaster, is now dead. So I lose all of her stuff. These all get swallowed up on the far side of the moon. These are all spells. I put them on the bottom. So she died. Poor Agnes. She was just a waitress pulled in over her head for an adventure she didn't want to deal with. Flip her card over, and then these cards are cool. They're little tombstones. Gain 1 elder sign, then add 1 doom to the doom track. It tells you what to do whenever somebody dies. So I gain an elder sign, but I add 1 doom to the doom track, which opens up another gate. And now I got Monterey Jack running solo for the rest of the game. Oh well. So that was that turn.
Have you ever played the old Marvel comic superheroes?
Add 1 doom to the. I'm just finishing this up, and I'll address.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
And then I see all these bells and whistles. I got to put monsters. Okay, the next time the clock strikes, each investigator must discover. Okay, so now it's top of the round. What were you asking?
Oh, I was asking. There used to be this old game called Marvel Comic Superheroes, and it was you kind of had. I think you had, if I remember correctly, you had cards that had the stats of, like, say, the Hulk or something, and then.
Are you thinking of Overpower?
No, not over. No. This was actually made by Marvel, and it was had all their things. It was kind of the precursor to HeroClix, because it didn't have figures, So have you ever gone to Gen Con?
No, I haven't been to Gen Con. I've been to Dice Tower Con a couple of times, and I went to Wisconsin to Gary Con for the Dungeons and Dragons Con.
Oh, is that what it's called now?
There's one in Lake Geneva called Gary Con.
Well, because Gen Con used to be in Lake Geneva.
Oh yeah,
and then I think it moved to Milwaukee.
Well, Gen Con is a board game convention, and Gary Con is a D&D convention.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is, back in the day, before everything changed, Gen Con was a D&D convention.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
like
that.
If you would read Dragon magazine, it would say Gen Con #2. Come on and show up, So it totally changed. Just like San Diego Comic Con is not a comic convention really anymore.
Yeah, my buddy Jimmy, he's a freelance cameraman, and every year he's like, "I'll get you press passes. You can come down to San Diego, But I just
really.
Can't take. But he says it sucks. It's a movie. It's a movie thing now. It's not comic books.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
My wife and I went to the New York Comic Con 5 years in a row, and we just stopped going. It got to be too crowded. It's people walking around and cosplay, and there's no comics. It's all movie stuff.
Right.
Panels about TV shows and movies, and I don't know. I just lost interest.
It's not the same.
Although I'm thinking about going to Heroes Con in Atlanta in June, because a bunch of my buddies are going. So it'll be a bunch of childhood friends and then a bunch of comics creators that it would be nice to finally meet them in person.
Oh, cool.
So I would like to try and swing that. I can't promise everything.
So I recently just went to the Atlantic Comic Con that was in a month ago. That was in Atlanta, and it had some comics, tons of like pop culture stuff. The Punisher guy was there, and Daryl Dixon was there. And it's definitely a different thing. you know. But you know, the thing about it is, even Jack Kirby succumbed to it. Like he stopped making comics and he started making movies, right?
Right.
Like conceptualizing like different movies and whatnot.
Well, they
So it's
pay
like,
more.
yeah, he had his fill of the comic business, I'm sure. You know, but Jack Kirby was a different breed altogether because I think that when you do something for so long, it re-engineers your brain. You know, so Jack Kirby, they say, could draw from the top left to the bottom right and get the page
Right.
done.
Yeah. It's almost like he had everything complete in his head. And it was almost like a machine, like an AutoCAD, just filling in the details. I
That's
would
what
have
it
loved to have
is.
seen that. Yeah.
That
Guys,
was
there's a reason why we revere the man.
he was exceptional in his way. I'll bet you a lot of the old dudes, a lot of the veterans in general are masters, right, at what they do. But it's rare that you find somebody like Jack Kirby who is the best of the best, right? And when you read his books today, the figures are so cool and they have so much humanity in like Reed Richards talking to his wife, the Invisible Woman, to Sue Storm that's pretty cool. You know, you can see the faces. And then the best inker with Jack Kirby was Joe Sinnott, in my opinion. A lot of people think that. You know,
I agree 100%.
Yeah, I mean it's just like Jim Lee, right? Jim Lee is a great penciler, but with Scott Williams, it's a whole different ballgame. Together, they are the best of the best, right? So, and it's when you team up in comics, it seems like when you team up, some people are not like that. Like Frank Miller's not like that. John Byrne's not like that. You know, he was able to do his own book and do great stuff. You know.
I love what John Byrne. I mean, my favorite is John Byrne inked by Terry Austin.
Well, yeah.
And then John Byrne inked by John Byrne. You know. But,
well, you know what it is, in my opinion. When he was doing X-Men with Terry Austin, he was young and ready to fight, right? And by the time he got to what's that?
He was trying to prove himself.
Exactly. And then by the time he got to Fantastic Four, he had mastered it. And so now he's streamlining, right? So he can write and ink and do everything, right? And by the way, what he came up with was excellent, right? But yeah, the Phoenix thing was the best. So
yes.
Hey, Matt Barr's here. What up?
Oh, Matt's here. Hey, Matt, join up. Come on in, Matt. The link is in the chat if you want to pop in.
I'll tell you what. Matt Barr, I didn't know who he was, but I remember seeing his artwork. He did Rock and Roll Ninja with and so I was like, I don't even know what the story's about. But I love when people draw and things look dimensional. Like the finger looks like you can see the hard top and the soft underbelly of the finger, right? Things look more 3D-ish in a way. I don't know, like Art Adams does that, right? Nick Bradshaw, who's a newer guy, he does that kind of thing. And Matt Barr does that too. And that's one of the things.
That's some pretty good company for you, Matt.
I mean, I love it. Ed McGuinness does it, but he does it in a little bit a different way, right? But I love Ed McGuinness's work. He's awesome.
Yeah, I loved his run with John Hickman on Fantastic Four. That was so good. That was so good. Yeah, John Hickman and Ed McGuinness on art did Fantastic Four for a while.
Is that after the Red Hulk or before?
Oh, I think it was before 2015 because that's when I quit. So I don't remember, but so somewhere between 2000.
Yeah, it's after. Yeah, it's after, right? I took a hiatus. I took a hiatus when but the best book, one of my favorite books of all time, and you can crucify me if you want to. You can say you're like on drugs or something. Is Old Man
Sorry, I'm reacting slow. It's like I said, I'm kind of
Oh
messed
yeah,
up. But this is the link to your trailer. I'll watch this. Maybe we'll watch
Yeah.
this. I'm about to lose this game. But when you say something,
Old Man Logan was one of my favorites of all time.
yeah, I was good. I was good too.
I have because when I had money, I used to buy original artwork.
Oh
So
man.
I have a bunch of the pages from the Old Man Logan series.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I have the one big one where he's fighting the Red Skull, and it's the one where it's awesome, by the way, because he's about to cut. He picks up Cat's shield, and he's going to kill the Red Skull, right? And Red Skull's face is shocked, right? And you realize why his face is shocked. You know why, right? Because Captain America won from the grave, right? The spirit of Captain America is what got Logan to pick up the shield and kill him. And so, and then I've got the pages where he comes, he kills the Hulk gang, where he goes back and he carves them all up and he goes to fight the Hulk. I got a bunch of those pages.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
What do
people
you
want
think-
them.
Where'd you get
What's that?
those?
I got them from the Artist Choice. Spencer Beck is the rep at the time. So
Nice.
there was a couple, only a couple collectors got them, because the second we were waiting this by the minute for when he's gonna post them, and we basically had our own list. So if you had to get them right then within the email had to be posted so that you got first dibs,
I bet.
And so yeah, people always contact me and want to buy them, and I'm like, maybe one day I'll sell them, but not today.
I dropped my dice. See, this is painful. Bending over like this.
Hey, listen, I gotta get going because I gotta
Okay.
get working. It was
Okay.
great to stop by. I love your game.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
All right, have a good one.
All right, thanks a lot, buddy.
Bye.
Anybody else want to pop in? I don't know how much longer I'm going to be battling Gatanoa. Matt, you still around? Anybody? I got 28 people watching, and feel free to join in and help me defeat this hard monster that looks like it's about to beat me right now. So I'm in the Plateau of Leng. I defeated this monster by using a magic item, and I need to roll 2 of these. And since I failed, I'm going to have to take a sanity damage. So I'll take a sanity damage if I can find the correct tokens. One more sanity damage, and it's the end of the game. So I will re-roll this. I have this focused. Oh, nice. I got this. I got this. I got this. So I defeated the challenge at the Plateau of Leng. So as my reward, I get a clue. I love these tokens. They're little footprints. I got a clue. Oh, man. I got the Elder Sign. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But stupid me wasn't paying attention because I was talking. He wakes up. The Elder God wakes up. So this comes back here. This goes over here. These are my trophies. And because his ability now, I have to roll the dice. If I roll a terror, I am devoured. So I'm not devoured. That's his special ability. Okay, so now when Gatanoa attacks, each investigator must roll 1 green die on a terror attack. He's devoured. So now I have to fight the creature. He is awake. And this creature defies all time, space, and dimension, so he's everywhere. He attacks every midnight. So now I advance the clock till 6. All right, so let's see. There's some comments. I could try to pop in, but my dad doesn't know his wife. Okay. How's everybody going? Frank Kepler, I disagree on avoiding the vaccine. It was supposed to be just because the stiff wind would blow. I don't know what you mean by that, but the vaccine didn't do anything. The vaccine didn't do anything. It didn't grant you immunity. It didn't prevent you from getting sick. So I don't know why everybody was going nuts about it. And if it worked, then why do I have to take Tylenol to stop you from getting a headache? That was my feelings on the damn thing. So now I have to attack him. So my only choice now is to defeat him. I woke him up because I wasn't paying attention. So Gat and Othia is awake. And I don't know if you could see this card, but this card is his hit points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he has like 9 hit points. On my turn now, I'm still blessed. Oh, discard this if the guy awakes. So he's awake. So forget that die. All right. So now I have. This is all I have. Now I am desperately attacking this great elder being. So I failed. So I lose a die. And now I have to keep rolling. I need to get the tentacles and the skull. All right, so tentacles and the skull. So that does 1 damage. So that'll remove one of his thing. And then I keep rolling. I lose another. And then I lose another. So now I advance the clock there. And I start my turn all over again. See. Is anybody? I was just looking to see. All right, so now my next turn, I just got to fight him. I just got to fight him before he kills me. He attacks at midnight. Sounds like a horror movie. He attacks at midnight. So these two. Removes the damage. I just spaced out for a second. I will focus this die on that. And then I'll keep that focused and I'll use that. And then I'll roll this die. And so that's the end of that turn. I advance to midnight. Now, midnight, he attacks. I roll this dice. If I get this symbol on the die, I'm dead. Game's over. All right, so I get to live another round of fighting. So I will attack him again. Nice. Do I dare curse it by saying that this is easier now that he's awake? Okay, I will focus this, but I have to lose a die. Okay, that time I didn't do any damage. I advanced the clock. Take back all the dice, and I just keep doing this till he's dead or I'm dead. I got nothing on that roll, so I lose a die. Nothing even worth focusing. Okay, so I'm going to focus one of those, but I lose another die. Come on. Come on. Oh, okay, so I did 1 damage to him. In case you can't tell, I need to do 4 more damage to him. Advance the clock. And here we go. Okay, I did 1 damage to him. Anybody? Okay. I did another damage to him. And I can't possibly beat him with that. So advance the clock, start all over again. I got 2 more damage to him, and I can beat him. This is getting to be very possible. And I forgot I had clues. Okay, so I will focus that. I could focus once a turn, and I lose a die. I will spend a clue to re-roll everything. I forgot I had 2 clues. I'll in for penny and for pound. I'll use all my clues. and he doesn't want to go down. He wants to kill me. Okay, so this cool, nice. If this is a skull, I win the game. All right, so this goes to midnight. Now he gets one shot. If he rolls 1 out of 6 chance, he kills me. He does not kill me. All right, so now we go to this, and I think I got it in the bag at this point. I think I got it in the bag at this point. Oh, focus that, lose that dice. And there. To the Monterey Jack for the win. Monterey Jack for the win. How's everybody? Monterey Jack for the win. You guys want to keep talking? I'll move the camera. You'll see insanely sick Johnny in pain. I'm spinning the camera around so I could get it off the stand. I bought a camera stand. I'm sorry for making everybody motion sick. I'm sorry about this, everybody. Okay, so now the more familiar view. Look at me. This is me. For those of you who just got here, oh geez, look at this crazy hair. I had a surgery. I'm wearing this girdle over here. I'm disgusting. I haven't showered since Thursday. I've been walking around the house, going up and down the stairs, keep it moving because they say you'll get blood clots. But I had 6 hernias repaired. They disconnected my abdominal muscles to pull everything tight, sewed everything shut, and then reattached. So I got to wear this. Oh man, I want to cough so bad, and it's just so painful. So I've been playing solo games just to keep myself occupied. So anybody want to say anything? Anybody here? Anybody want to talk about anything? I don't know what else to say. Oh, we got Marcus over here. How you doing, Marcus?
How are you, Dad? How are you doing, John?
I'm doing surprisingly better than I thought. I tried to.
Yeah, how did the hernia go through?
It's funny because I put it off for too long, like men tend to do. You couldn't tell because I never showed it, but it looked like a Pop-O-Matic. Remember those Pop-O-Matics that we had as a kid?
Sure.
Coming out of my stomach, it looked like the alien was about to pop out.
Wow. I had hernia, and this was before I got married, years and years and years ago, and I ignored it. And then I was doing sit-ups one day. Believe it or not, I did that once, and that was it. I had to be rushed to the hospital. Inguinal hernia. Yeah.
They said it was getting really close to cause some problems with my internal organs. So I had. It
dropped down right all the way down, and then I was in real pain, and they had to do real surgery. And this was like 25 years ago, and then I got a mesh liner. I guess that's not good.
Yeah, they don't do at least this guy was.
I don't think they do that.
They went in with robots, and I didn't even look yet because I still have this girdle on, so I don't know what the scars look like. I'm afraid to take it off. But they went in with like little robot fingers on this side and this side, and they just like sewed everything together. But they didn't realize that it was a series of hernias, so they had to do a whole big. And they said they had to disconnect the abdominal muscles to get it to close.
Wow, mine.
And then they had to,
mine. Yeah, wow. That's scary though, sounding.
Yeah, so they said I would be under for 40 minutes. So when you wake up, it's like time teleport. I just remember the nurses, everybody's joking around. They put that thing on.
I know that feeling.
And then I wake up, and I'm like, oh my god, I feel like I was beat up. And so what time is it? And it's 2:40. I'm like 2:40. So right then and there, I knew it was worse because it was hours. It was hours for the surgery. And then they wheeled me, and my wife was like, eyes were big like saucers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, it's gonna be 40 minutes, and it was like a couple hours. So.
Oh boy.
So
yeah.
I could stand up and I could walk around, but like yesterday, I was with tonic ball. I was dying because I'm
I
sitting
know.
in the chair.
I was watching the tonic ball. It was the afternoon. We had done what we had to. We're going to spring training game every day. We're big baseball fans. Seeing various teams, not just our team. I like the Yankees.
Where are
We'll
you in
see them
Florida?
tomorrow. So yeah, I'm in Florida at Fort Myers, and in Fort Myers they have the Minnesota Twins and the Boston Red Sox. And he's been going to spring training games for years, and I started going before COVID. And like COVID, that was a couple of years drop right there. We couldn't go. There was no spring training, and that's when I visit him. And we go not well. Some years it was not every day, but this year it's every day. And it's a lot of fun.
Just as we were talking, I just got a message from Renzo. He finished the card art, so I'm gonna have
awesome.
6 trading cards, as stretch goals for the comic. He just
Nice.
said, I can't show them all because you don't know who the bad guy is, but I'll show.
No, that's awesome.
I'll share this. I'm all excited. So
You should be.
yeah.
Wow, that's nice.
So I'm gonna embiggen that. So that's the Patriarch trading card, and on the back I'll have.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And I guess you've already seen, so I guess I could show. Did I stop it? Yes, I did. You've already seen, so I'll show. Yeah. All right, I can show that, but I don't want to show the main bad guy yet because you haven't seen him yet.
That's okay.
There's the girl.
Oh yeah, that's great.
So that's scams.
That's really nice.
Oh, and I showed.
He's so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the Patriot is a lot of fun to draw.
And there's
I had a lot of fun with that. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he put the scar in and everything.
I like that.
So I'll send them to get colored, and then so that'll
Yeah, well, the Patriots are really a lot of fun to draw. So that just
I know. I tried to stick with the superhero principle of least amount of lines as possible.
Oh, thank
you.
God. Yeah, well, when I did the drawing of them, it's a nice costume. Once I figured out the best way to do the logo hand drawn, because obviously if you have a computer, then you can really just get it absolutely perfect. But then I saw Mr. Broderick's piece, and I got a better idea of it.
I'm getting a T-shirt made as we speak. Just one, just so I could wear it.
Yeah.
The promotional, and then if people like that, I'll see about getting a bunch of them made.
Well,
The T-shirt, super high quality. It's going to be like $35, and then they charge me like $25 just to make up the print.
but
So
that's not
bucks.
that's not too high. That's what those T-shirts are. So
Yeah, but I can't lay out.
that's not
Like
too
I
high.
could get a discount if I order like 100. So let me get the campaign out.
Well,
Yeah,
all
Nick-
the other campaigns Nick knows all this stuff. So, but I know that all the other campaigns that they really do wait on the T-shirts. It's
Right.
a certain amount, and then they order it, and it gets almost fulfilled before the book because they need the numbers ahead of time. So I can only imagine it's on bulk. It's one reason why they're so expensive. But I've seen people wear those T-shirts, and that quality is really nice.
Yeah, it's
I should send you a scan. I mean, you don't have of my drawing just so you have it. A good scan, maybe next week.
yeah,
Not that you need to use it. That's not what I mean. I just thought you could have it.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm this is really happening, guys. This is so cool. Nick is finishing off the campaign page, for Fund My Comic.
Nice.
Just a few little details, and then
I love that Michael T. Gilbert piece too.
Yeah,
I
that's
saw
gonna
that.
be.
I've been on YouTube way less because I've been busy not driving and seeing all the sort. But I do make sure I watch most of your shows.
Oh, thank you.
Now
And
yeah. So I gotta,
like I was saying to Shadowpunk, I refused any painkillers. So
I didn't know who Shadowpunk was, and then I saw him when I turned this on. I said, "Is he still on?" And I said,
Yeah.
"Wait, I've seen that guy on streams before. He's a nice guy."
yeah. He sent me a comic. I felt bad because
I saw that.
I'm not trying to,
Hey,
So-
we all want to share. We all want to share our stuff. You know, when I went to Heroes Con for the first time, was meeting CG guys and all these guys, and I thought my partner had stacks of that comic that I had, right, from the 1997. And I started giving them out. And then I called him. I said, "Do you have any of these left?" And he goes, "No." And I got 8 left. I was like, you just want to share it with people, So, especially people of like minds, we're all in this together in a lot of ways, unless you're fighting with Eric July.
Yeah, I'm not fighting with it.
No,
anybody.
no,
I was fighting with
no.
what's his name?
Well, I can start a fight with you. You want me to start a fight with you?
I was fighting with Gath and Noah.
I saw some of that. Yeah, I can
Gath,
start a fight with you. I'll say when I put up a romance cover, I'll say something mean about you. There's no romance in his comics.
that's I appreciate that you put that up, because that's like a whole lost era of comics. The whole
it is lost, and I'm almost to the end. I'm really at the end of the John Romita covers, because Marvel used the covers twice. Like, they'll recolor them and use the same art again.
Oh, really?
And later, but I'm going to post them anyway because I have them. But I only have like 14 left, and I have like 90 Jack Kirby romance covers. And I wonder if I should do like
Kirby,
I have them on Pinterest.
As a romance artist before Fantastic Four.
Well, he and Joe Simon created romance comics. He made millions. And there's not more covers by Kirby, because a good half of them, they used photo covers. He didn't draw the covers, a lot of them.
Oh, okay.
So he has about, I was going to do Kirby, Gene Colan. I have a Pinterest that has stacks of comic art. When I was stuck for months in an old age home rehabbing a bad injury, that's what I did, was collect artwork. I put it somewhere. So I put it in Pinterest. So what am I going to do with this? So I said, I can put, who's going to do romance? But I wonder if you could crowd. I guess JDA did a romance. I guess we're not the only one.
Yeah, he did. That's right. Yeah.
That's a romance comic. He says that it is anyway. I don't not believe him, but yeah. So I might keep doing some John Romita pages, but I'm not sure where the pages, what issues they come from, especially in the 50s. And I don't know if it's worth the research, but I might do Kirby. It's nice to have a slight presence on X, even though I have no reach. People seem to enjoy it.
Yeah, I was just telling Renzo, send those cards to Daniel. Let's get them colored up. And yeah.
I want to say, can't wait to see how. I don't know. I think it's going to do pretty well. I don't know what the expectation is. I have no idea. It's very difficult for me to do the smaller campaigns.
24 hours, that's great.
Yeah, he did good. He did well. Yeah, he did well. If I had more money, I'd back more books. But I'll try to share the books if I can't back them. Your book, I will back your book. That goes without saying.
So I think tomorrow,
I think
I'm okay to do Sunday comics. So I'm thinking of I'm going to do Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos #1.
Oh, the first issue of that is really good.
Yeah. I did.
Kirby issues of that are very good.
So I think I'll check that out. I'll read.
It's not even the later ones are not a bad. I do read one blog, like the Tom Brevoort blog, because he's fairly our age and he bought all the same comics. And some of the attitudes he has with Nick Fury and some like Jim Shooter and stuff are kind of iffy. But he's shown some of them. They look like a lot of fun. Even the Dick Ayers issues with John Severn are nice. But the first few Kirby issues are very good.
That kills me. Coughing. Oh my God. They had to stick the tube down my throat. Somebody's gonna clip that and make that they had to stick the tube down my throat.
Oh, that's not good.
They slightly waited till I was out and then removed it.
They have to. They have to. But
So my throat is killing me, and I think damage to the esophagus or whatever from a tube. I have to cough, and oh my God, I see stars every time I cough.
when I was at COVID, I was under for 16 days, and the reason why you're under in COVID is to put that tube down your throat because it is so uncomfortable. You will take it out. My wife said that I was on the ambulance being rushed to. I took it out. I couldn't breathe. This was making me breathe. I took it out anyway.
Oh God.
And when I woke up, I had to talk like this. You know.
Yeah, Thursday I was talking like this. You know,
Yep.
and that's why
I have to put you out.
with Tonic Wall, I was like, I'm sorry, I gotta go because I was exerting myself to talk and to stay hunched
don't-
over. Yeah, I think I put on a good show.
Tonic
Yeah.
Tonic Wall. He could put on a show by himself. He'd be
Yeah.
really good on YouTube. He has a lot of info, a lot of opinions.
He's one of
he
my
talks
favorites.
about,
And
he's
I
a nice
think
guy.
that's because I got a week off that I didn't plan on. I can't.
Yeah,
go
you
back to
should
work.
have a week off. You're surprised it's only a week.
So I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna.
know.
I'm gonna reread all of Saving the World and make a video about that. Talking.
Oh,
about
that'd be a great idea. I'd like to see that. I know I have goals of backing this. I wanted to catch up Wolf. I ordered the Wolf and Batsy. I backed the last 3. I want to be able to get all of them. And then I'd like to back Dave's books, her Perfect 10, and get all of those eventually. But my money's not my own. I don't have it. Yeah. And then, there's other books I want to back.
This just showed up.
So I have to really plan my backing.
Florida.
I
Man.
didn't. Yeah, I got something else instead of Florida Man. I forgot what it was.
Know what else I just started reading? I just started reading it yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
It was referenced in Roy Thomas's Young All Stars, and then Hellboy referenced it. Like Vril is basically superpowers. Vril is like this
Okay.
ancient subterranean race, and it all comes from this book. And I don't know if it's a hoax or what. But supposedly this manuscript was found. You know what I mean? Nobody knows who wrote this book back in like 18.
Oh, that's interesting.
You know what I mean? And it's about and the characters they put dashes so you don't know who the 2 characters are. And one of them's a rich guy. He gets a job with another guy who's smart but needs funding, and they're going to make a mine. They're going to get into the mining business, and as they go into the mines, they get trapped in an underground city where these basic super beings live. And then
wow.
Yeah, so
That does sound good.
it sounds
That sounds
fun.
like a graphic novel.
Yeah, but it was written in the 1870s. But then again, is because there's a bunch of hokey books. Like there's a couple of vampire novels that are supposed to be like predate Dracula, and then you find out that it wasn't. That's just part of the allure of the book. That this is a translation from a script, but the person, so I don't want to get too excited. But the fact that Roy Thomas referenced it back in, when I was reading the Young,
Yeah, it makes it interesting. Yeah.
and then
Well,
Mike
I did-
Mignola, this is like the basis of all the occult experiments in Hellboy. Is they're
Oh, that's
harnessing
interesting. Oh, yeah. All right. I have to keep that in mind.
Haldiel says.
I
what
did
is
read.
the full title? The full title is Vril, the power of the coming race. So it's a slip of a book. Each chapter is only like 2. It reads like a comic book. So I looked it up on Wikipedia, but that was like unhelpful. And then when you go into, you do like a little bit more research, and it becomes like Alex Jones conspiracy stuff. So I don't know what to believe.
What am I reading? I'm reading Levon Cade book 2.
Oh, how
I
are
read
they?
book 1.
I bought the first
I like
one.
if you like Chuck Dixon and you like the Punisher and you like a hard violent type of crime fiction, although it's not exactly crime fiction, you'll like that. But I'm a big fan of all those books that Mike Barron, John D. McDonald, and Travis McGee. I read a ton of those, if not all of them. And those that he does. I used to read a science fiction fantasy book and then a crime book, and then when I read a lot. And then after I finished that, I want to start reading. I never read the Conan novels, the Conan novellas.
Yeah, I just got.
So I got all those for Christmas.
Okay.
I read some Doc Savage. I haven't read them all. They're really simple though. You'll fly through those.
Yeah, I got the Conan book. I read the very first Conan story, and then I got distracted, which is easy to do to me. And then I got into the. Forgive me. It's like an effort to cough. I started reading the John Carter Warlord of Mars books.
I read that. I love John Carter, Warlord of Mars.
Yeah, I read
I read a bunch of those.
up until his son. What's his son's name?
I think I read the same. I think I stopped at the Sun. I know I read a bunch of those books.
Caloris?
I love John Carter, Warlord of Mars.
Is that his name? Because I know it's a mix between John Carter and Deja Thoris. Caloris? Haldir, I've been reading The Colorless recently, volume 6. What is this? What is The Colorless? You mentioned this twice. Are they books? Are they comics? Are they novels? Are they comics? I don't know anything about this. Send me a link. You're a mod. Send me a link and I'll check it out.
I read. I also just read Joe's Frankenstein too. That was a good comic.
Yeah,
I had read it. I had read it online, but I liked it much better in person. And then I'm going to read Ghost of Matakumba Key.
That was good too.
But the storytelling is so good.
Yes.
I forget, the drawing is really good. And then you say, well, he's a little silly this way, but the storytelling is so good. It's unbelievable. I'll buy anything he does that Graham does.
There says The Colorless is a manga. I got excited because I thought it was somehow related to The Color Out of Space, the Lovecraft story.
I'm planning to back. I've never backed a She book. I probably backed this new one, which she's going through time. I've never backed Billy's book. I've met him personally a bunch of times, and I feel guilty. And I want to back Vaughn Coleman's book. That looks good, and I know Vaughn a little bit too. So you meet all these guys at cons. It's not at comic conventions. It's not like a big deal. But I never was into She
a year ago, but I just haven't read it yet.
Well, the thing is, I didn't want to really where it is. I have so many big books. I don't mind getting the comics, but I don't need any more big omnibuses. When I move, the boxes. You'll never move, but I mean, when I move, I don't want to carry all those heavy boxes. So I didn't buy it, but I feel. Billy's a nice guy, but I wasn't into She. It did influence me in a way, but I wasn't into She. When the Bad Girl time was when I was doing my comic, and we had one story. We had a story that actually was published and bought through Diamond in Fantastic Worlds, and at the back we had one more page because you guys can have a poster. Why don't you promote what you're going to do? So I put the flag and my characters, and then I put a girl. And my writer goes, "Who's this?" I go, "Well, I'm not sure, but with all the bad girls, we better put a girl in here." That was the bad girl. So I always, I was inspired to make a Kitty Nova, whatever she's called, at that time. The stripper with a heart of gold from the 50s.
I'm paying Renzo right now for the cards because.
I hope it's not too well. It's not painful because it's so good.
But it's just that I still feel messed up from the anesthesia, and I know I'll forget.
Well, I dealt pretty good with anesthesia, so. But
you know what I mean. I still feel.
But I'm good at rehab too, so.
So I want to make sure he's paid. I don't want to have any problems. So you guys are my witness of how fast John's Long Box pays.
Oh, you pay fast. You're fine.
I paid you right when you.
Right away. Yeah.
So and then I log it my notebook.
Yeah, I'm not even mad at you, so don't worry.
I just don't want. I got enough problems. I don't want there to be.
We can make jokes. I can make jokes about it.
I'm saying I got enough problems in my life. I don't want money to be one of the problems with people. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, it's wonderful.
The community is so small.
That's great.
So what's today's date? Today is the 16th.
I got to get a project though. Although my story, it's lettered so poorly, John, was published on the Mythic America's website finally after it only took them 2 years. One of the first stories. And it looks okay. The lettering is so bad, but I didn't letter it. My partner lettered it.
So here we go. This is my heroic.
I thought he was a better letterer, but
this is all my payouts. Just I don't want.
But I posted that stuff on Twitter before. You like that Quasar I did?
Yeah, that was really
That
good.
was
Looked like Jim Starlin.
I was trying to figure. I remember drawing that in pencil,
I wanted to
and I'm
ask
going
you.
through some stuff.
You said
Yeah.
your father is a fan of Jim Starlin, but your father's not a comic book fan. So how did he become a Jim Starlin fan?
No, he's a comic book fan because
Oh,
he
yeah.
read all my comic books,
Oh,
and
okay.
he used to. He's in the other room. He used to take us to all the comic conventions, like when we were 13 and 14, and then we were allowed to go by ourselves, me and my brother. And he would go and he would sit there and watch, and we would go, have a huge list of comics to fill in. I had bought a collection from somebody so I could fill in most of the Marvels from the 70s. And then we would say, who's speaking when? And he read all the comics. He really liked Dreadstar, Captain Marvel, Warlock, all that stuff.
Oh, that's
And he, we saw Jim Shooter speak. We didn't meet him, but we saw him speak. And he was always super, a couple of times. And he's always super impressed with him, which I told Mr. Shooter when I said, my dad really was impressed with you. He liked that. You could see that he enjoyed that statement. And right now I'm in my father's kitchen, and up to my left is a Dreadstar poster that they put out, whatever Dreadstar came out in 1985 with Dreadstar superhero suit and all the characters.
cool.
And he had it in his lawyer's office
How
since
old
the
is he
80s.
then?
It's 85. He'll be 86 in April.
That's so.
So-
I'm just trying to think because my dad, I think my dad would be close to 90 if he was still around. But he
was always at the science fiction. He like reads Dune every couple of years.
Dune. I
You know.
can never get into Dune.
Yeah, I have trouble. My son likes it too. I have trouble with it, but my son likes it an awful lot. But so he had this Dreadstar picture in a law office in White Plains, New York. So you go into your lawyer, and it's a serious thing, and you look up, and here's a Jim Starlin poster.
It's funny. I went to my chiropractor, and he had you see this Enterprise behind me?
Yeah.
Where is it? Right there. He had pretty much.
Yeah. I see it.
He had pretty much the same one. So that became.
Nice.
He said that one of his patients was Leonard Nimoy's mistress, and
Nice.
she would tell him stories about sneaking around with Leonard Nimoy. I guess it's logical to have a side piece, right?
I guess. I don't know. It seems like a lot of work to me.
I don't know. Well, that lifestyle, you spend so much time away from your family. You know what I mean?
Well, that's true. That's true.
Not me. I can't keep track of anything.
Yeah, I know.
She goes,
Me
"You're
too.
too stupid to get a girlfriend. You got
to." Yeah, that's exactly right. I said, my wife just wants to get a girlfriend. I go, you people are too much work. Are you kidding me? Women? Oh, I can't barely deal with you. I said. I was flipping through all my stuff, and I found this sketch I did of Quasar. I don't know why I drew it. And I decided I would finish it, and I would do space. I like to do the space and the toothbrush thing and everything. All the stars are done by a toothbrush with a paint.
Oh, cool.
And I like to do that. Something they can do on computer now, but I like to. It's so random. You just go, and it just flies everywhere. And so it's only 9x12. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right. Well, I can't sit like this too much longer.
All right. Well, I was just saying, I was just trying to stop by.
So,
I didn't know how long to get. I just got back from dinner.
This was a spur of the moment thing. What time is it? Oh, it's 8:30 already. Time is weird because I can't sleep the whole night. So I wake up, I catnap, so I forget what time it is. I got to get back on a normal schedule. So I'll try to.
I don't know. Yeah, I think you're going back to work early. I hope it's all right.
My partner's
Even
going
with
out,
just a week.
I
know. I heard.
Yeah. So
Well, y'all got after all that lifting stuff. Y'all got hernias.
yeah, I know. Everybody, we're all beat up. I said my whole game group, we're all in our 50s. Or my friend Jimmy just got a hip replacement, and he didn't take too well for that. He had to go back into the hospital. My buddy Roy had a shoulder, a rotator cuff. So it's like we're all old superheroes, like playing role-playing games, and like, oh, we can't even roll the dice anymore.
That's issue 13. The superheroes at the old age game for heroic tales. The superheroes at the old age home.
But I gotta get going. It's killing me.
All right. Feel better. I'll talk to you later, Sean.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for everybody for watching. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye bye.